Hello students, I am Dr. Richa Bhatia from the Department of Commerce, the Bhopal School of Social Sciences. And today I am here to discuss with you the last section of our income tax topic, that is income from salary. Till now in the previous videos, we have discussed about income from salary in detail. We talked about that what is the meaning of salary, we talked about allowances, we talked about perquisites, and today we have to discuss a very important topic, that is provident funds, and as well as the deductions which are available in income from salary. So let's start by discussing provident fund. The first thing that we need to understand is what is the meaning of provident fund. So the word provident fund means future. It means to provide for future. When you talk about provident fund, a certain amount is deducted from the employee's salary and some amount is also contributed by the employer. So the employee's contribution and the employer's contribution together are credited to the provident fund account. This contribution is also invested and then interest is also earned on the same investments which are also credited to the provident fund account. When an employee will retire, at that time he will receive a lump sum payment of provident fund along with the interest, which will prove to be very beneficial for him for the retirement age. Therefore, provident fund is a very important topic in income from salary. Now let's start discussing the various kinds of provident fund. There are four kinds of provident fund that we need to discuss. The first one is the statutory provident fund. The second one is the recognized provident fund. The third one is the unrecognized provident fund, and the last one is the public provident fund. Now we are going to discuss every provident fund in detail and also its provisions in income from salary. So let's start with the first provident fund, that is statutory provident fund. Now statutory provident fund, as the name is suggesting, that it is formed under the Employees Provident Fund Act 1925. This fund is majorly maintained by all the government and the semi-government organizations, local authorities and educational institutions. Let's start by discussing the second provident fund. The second provident fund is the recognized provident fund. The recognized provident fund is also under the Act of Employees Provident Fund and Miscellaneous Provisions Act 1925. As the word recognized, this particular fund is recognized by the Commissioner or the Chief Commissioner of Income Tax. This particular fund is mainly maintained by the private organizations. Now let's come to the third one, which is the unrecognized provident fund. Unrecognized provident fund, as the name says, it is not recognized by the Commissioner or the Chief Commissioner of Income Tax, but it is formed and recognized by the Provident Fund Commissioner. This type of unrecognized provident fund is also maintained by the private organizations. Then we come to the last kind of provident fund, which is public provident fund. Now public provident fund is a scheme that started in 1968. Now under this scheme, any individual, whether a salaried individual or any other individual, can open a public provident fund account in SBI or any other nationalized bank. The minimum investment is Rs 500 for a particular year and the maximum investment is 1,50,000. The main attraction of public provident fund is that the entire amount, including the interest amount, is exempt from tax. Now after discussing all the four kinds of provident fund, it's very important to understand that what is the amount that will be included in the employee's salary and what will be the amount which will not be included in the employee's salary. So let us start with the first one, that is the statutory provident fund. When you discuss about the statutory provident fund, only the employee's contribution will be included in income from salary. The employer's contribution and interest will not be included while calculating income from salary. In recognized provident fund, the employee's contribution will be included. But when you talk about the employer's contribution, there are certain exemptions available, and which are: the employer's contribution is included in excess of 12% of the salary, and interest credited to the provident fund is included in excess of 9.5% of the salary. Now, what do you understand by salary? In this case, salary means basic salary, DNS pay and commission. Now let's come to the third provident fund, which is the unrecognized provident fund. When you talk about the unrecognized provident fund, again, only the employee's contribution will be included while calculating income from salary. The employer's contribution as well as the interest will not be included while calculating an individual salary income. Now, the next part that we need to understand is how much deduction is available for a particular provident fund when you talk about a very important deduction, that is deduction under section 80C. So let's discuss every provident fund under deduction 80C. When you talk about the statutory provident fund, it is exempt up to rupees 1,50,000 under section 80C. The same applies to the recognized provident fund also. An exemption of 1,50,000 will be available under section 80C. But when you talk about the unrecognized provident fund, no such deduction is available under section 80C. Now let's start discussing that what about the lump sum payment that is received at the time of retirement. So whenever a lump sum payment is received at the time of retirement, and we are talking about the statutory provident fund, that lump sum payment and the interest is exempt from tax. When you talk about the recognized provident fund, in that case also the entire lump sum amount as well as the amount of interest is exempt from tax. When you talk about the unrecognized provident fund, in the case of unrecognized provident fund, only the employee's contribution will be exempt from tax. The employer's contribution as well as the interest will be charged in income from salary, and whatever interest is being received by the employee's contribution, that will be charged in income from other sources. So this was all about the provident fund, where it is very important to understand the meaning of the provident funds and their treatment while giving the deduction under section 80C, while receiving the lump sum payment, and by calculating the entire monthly payment. So after discussing the provident funds, allowances, perquisites, now the final thing that we have to discuss in income from salary are deductions. Now there are several deductions which are available under section 16. Majorly there are three deductions. The first one is the standard deduction, the second one is the entertainment allowance deduction, and the third one is the professional tax. Now let us see the deduction one after the other. The first one is the standard deduction, which is given under section 16, subsection 1. As per assessment year 1920, a standard deduction of 50,000 is available while calculating the income from salary. When you discuss about the other deduction, which is entertainment allowance, always remember that this particular deduction is applicable only for a government employee and not for a non-government employee. The least of the following amount will be exempt: 5,000, 1/5 of the basic salary, or the actual entertainment allowance which is received. Out of these three amounts, whichever is the least, that will be exempted while calculating the income from salary. And the last one is the professional tax. Any kind of tax which is paid by the employee on the profession or employment is also deductible. So now let us have a look at the format of how to compute income from salary under the assessment year 2021. Here's the format. We start by writing down the basic salary, bonus, commission, all the taxable allowances, perquisites, profit in lieu of salary, employer's contribution to RPF in excess of 12% of the salary, interest credited to RPF or recognized provident fund in excess of 9.5% to get the final salary. Once you get the gross salary income, from the gross salary we can give deductions under section 16, which are standard deduction, entertainment allowance, and also the professional tax to find out the taxable salary. So my dear friends, we had a discussion on income from salary, allowances, perquisites, provident fund, and all the topics were covered in various series of your video lectures. So I hope you understood the practical as well as the theoretical part of calculating income from salary. I'll meet you next time with another very important and very interesting topic of salary and house property. Thank you. Happy learning. Keep practicing.